So again, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the habit tracker and how to customize it. Now, one important thing about this particular habit tracker is it involves a lot of formulas. So if you want to make any adjustments to it, you just need to follow the steps. I am going to go ahead and walk you through them, but they also are laid out here with copy paste of all of the different formulas. So that way it's nice and easy for you to use, but you can follow along this tutorial if it gets a little bit confusing. So the first and most important thing here is that the formula on your habit tracker is connected to this completed bar. So if we want to make any edits, you have to go to Edit Property, Edit Formula, and let's say you wanted to add a new property. Then you would go ahead and add another spot with the property using this formula. So it would say property, period, to number, parentheses, plus. And then you would also need to adjust this number here. So this depends on how many properties you have going. So for example, if you were to add a new property, then you would need to go ahead and adjust this to say 6. However, if you wanted to simply change one of the titles of the properties, let's say you wanted to change this to reading before bed, then you would need to go into the completed bar, edit the formula, and then take out evening shutdown and replace it. So that's the first step. Now, all of these different checkboxes populate into the habit stats. Each one of these properties is a checkbox, and depending on how many you check, you'll get a certain percentage of completed, but it also impacts your habit stats. So depending on how many days you've completed, you will update your streaks. And in order to update the formula for your streaks, we are going to go ahead and open up this page. Each one of these properties, so morning manifesto, movement, time outside, etc., has its own formula. So we need to go into here, edit the property, edit the formula. Now, there are 2 things you need to update if you have a new property. So let's say you've added a new habit, you now have 6 habits, then you need to go ahead and create a new property, name it as such, and it needs to be a formula type. Then what you're going to do is actually copy this entire formula and create the new property. The second thing that you need to do is update the property here. So as you can see, it says current morning manifesto. If, however, I wanted to change this property to one of the other habits, I would highlight it, backspace, and then you can go ahead and add one of the properties down here. So let's say focus log, movement, morning manifesto. I'm just going to go ahead and add back the morning manifesto. And then as you scroll down, the second property you need to fix is the title. So all you need to do is go ahead and highlight this. You can add an emoji, you can add a particular title, but you're going to go ahead and change that. After that is complete, do not touch anything else in the formula and click save. After that, you should be able to update the streaks. That way it matches your new habit tracker. If you would like to remove any of these, you want to follow the same steps. So first and foremost, you want to go into the completed tracker. This is this bar right here. You're going to want to go ahead and update the formula. And then secondly, you're going to want to update the formula and title under habit stats. Like I said, all of the steps are also outlined here in your habit tracker. And if you have any further questions, do let us know. But it should be relatively easy to follow so long as you make sure that you cover those 3 steps. So like I said, you need to go into the completed. If you have updated anything in the habit tracker, update the formula here, update the formula in the habit stats, and make sure that you also update the title. That is the habit tracker. It is probably the only piece in this entire template that requires a really in-depth formula. So hopefully that was easy to follow with. And if you have any further questions, do let our team know.